Hello friends, happy Tuesday to you guys. Hope y'all are having a lovely afternoon. I just got back from my lunch date with Josh, which was of course lovely, and I got all fixed up for him, so you're welcome. I got all my makeup on for you guys today. I don't look like I just rolled out of bed. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about concealers and some of the different options you can use for concealers, and just going through kind of problem solving for your skin type, the issues you're going through, et cetera, because concealers can be used obviously all over your face, and there's a couple different ones that you'll want to use in different ways depending on what your issues are. So this is definitely not an end-all be-all to everything about concealers, but this is just some of the information that I've learned and I've been trained on, that I wanted to pass along to you guys, and hopefully it'll be helpful. But if you still have concerns after we've done this video and you want to have a one-on-one consultation, please just reach out to me, and I will would love to get together with you and find which solution is going to work best for you. So to get started, just so you know, for those of you that aren't really familiar with the SeneGence makeup products, they are all very intermixing. I don't want to call it a word. They serve multiple purposes, and so lots of times people don't even buy the actual concealers because the shadow scents that they already have in their makeup bag works great for them for concealer. So that's the first thing I'm going to talk about, is the different eyeshadows that are commonly used as concealers, and that can be for spots on your face, dark spots, or under eye treatments. So the four most commonly used shadow scents, and I posted them in the graphic earlier today, so you can go back and reference that graphic. But the four most commonly used ones are Snow, which is truly the white shadow scent. Sorry, I don't know how to do the lighting up here. Sandstone Pearl, which is just a real light, I'll swatch with my hand, a real light creamy beige. And then the Candlelight, which has a little more yellow to it. Sorry, you can't see that with the stripe on there. I'll swatch these on my arm. Those are two really popular ones, the Candlelight and the Sandstone Pearl. Now don't forget, Sandstone Pearl also comes in a shimmer. You're obviously not going to want to use shimmer for your concealer, but you can use it to add a little pizzazz, which is what I do after I've gotten my concealer and such on. And then the last one, sorry, I'm swiping these on my arm for you. The last one is Whisper Pink, and this one's really pretty on olive complexions. Because it's got a white with a light pink undertone to it. It works really well as a concealer, especially under your eyes. So those are the four shadow scents that you can use, and we'll talk a little bit about application in just a minute, about how to use those different ones. And again, these shadows are great all over and for under eye, but what you'll notice is for those of us that have a little more fine lines and wrinkles under our eye, shadow scents can tend to be, it can settle a little bit more than the actual concealer. So that's one thing that you want to be aware of, is if you're older like me and have some fine lines and wrinkles around your eye, you have to go really light on the shadow scents around your eye, or else it's going to settle into those fine lines. So here are the three eyeshadows. Got to look right. Okay, this bottom one here is the Sandstone Pearl. You can see it's really light, but it's got a great undertone. This next one is the Candlelight that I told you has a little yellow to it, which works really great as a concealer for most skin types. And then this one is the Whisper Pink. Looks really bright on my arm here, but it's got pinky undertones. And then this top one is the Snow, and it's just pure white. And the great thing about all of these and using them as concealer is that you can use them straight on your face, or you can mix them up with your foundation or your tinted moisturizer to kind of target what you're going to want for your skin. So I'm going to get to application in a minute, but I'm going to skip over to the actual concealers now that we offer, and kind of talk through them. So again, if you'll reference the graphic that I posted this afternoon, there are 5 different concealers. Most people just use the light one if you're going for an actual skin toned concealer. This covers so many different skin tones, the light one, but there's light and medium and deep. And then we have 2 specialty concealers. There's the white, hey Carrie, there's the white and the green, which I have misplaced, so you'll just have to take my word for it that there's a green one too. So these are the actual concealers that we have, and we'll go through some of the application processes for those. But I have definitely found that for us older people with fine lines and wrinkles, these concealers work much better, and you just need a tiny dot to do that. And I'll kind of show you on a couple different areas of my face how we're going to use the concealers. The other thing is that you can use a couple of different application techniques. So you can use your finger, which is always great, especially if you're on your eye or you're just trying to conceal a light thing, because it just makes it easy to not overuse your product. You can use a little concealer brush like this, which has just got a little C shape, and it's just really easy to pat into place where you want the concealer. Or you can use a beauty blender, and this one I've already gotten wet so that I can show you how to use it. But it's great for stippling the product in where you're wanting to use the concealer at. So let's go over some application of concealers, and then I'm going to address dark eye circles and kind of how to approach those on the second part. So if you were just wanting to use the Shadow Sense straight on your face as a concealer, I'm going to use this Sandstone Pearl, and I'll show you a couple different ways you can do it. One, you guys know these products, just a tiny bit goes a long way. So if you're doing that, you can literally just tap your finger on, and then I have this very faint dark spot here. It's almost all gone thanks to the multivitamin treatment. But this is one of the areas that I used to put concealer on all the time, and I would always just use Shadow Sense because it's really just so slight that I don't need much. But the great thing about using the eyeshadows as concealer is, one, most all of you have a base color already in your collection. So whether that be Candlelight or Sandstone Pearl, many people already have one of these, so you're not having to buy an extra product. So that's kind of a win-win. But it's just a little bit dabbing like that. Or, second option, you can take your little concealer brush, and again, sorry, I gotta remember the camera's up here. Again, just tapping a tiny bit of product off of the wand. You can use any part of this wand, tapping a tiny bit of product on there, and then going back over, here's another little dark spot I got, we'll do it right there. And just tapping that in. Another thing is, it's completely your preference if you do your concealer underneath your foundation or on top. I'm doing it on top, and that's a really big trend right now, is to do it on top of your makeup, because you end up using less concealer than if you apply it underneath your makeup, because sometimes when you're applying your concealer underneath your makeup, unless you're really careful with your foundation application, you end up wiping away the concealer that you've already applied. So this is a great method to just do on top, just tapping a little bit on, and that is really all I needed. And then both of those spots are now completely covered by the Sandstone Pearl Shadow Sense. Another great thing that you can do, and I'm going to demonstrate with the Whisper Pink, is you can mix it in with your foundation. So if you have a bottle of foundation already, I like to do all my mixing on the lid because it's just really super easy. So you just take and do a tiny dot of your foundation. This is Ivory foundation that I've got right here. And then you can take your, sorry, I keep setting it down. Take your Shadow Sense, and again, you're gonna do a tiny little blob. Just wipe it onto the lid like that. And then you can mix them together with the end of your brush or the tip of your brush, whichever. I'm an end of my brush mixer. I find that works really, really well. But you can really mix it with your finger. If you're gonna use your finger to apply, you can mix it however you want, but I'm just mixing that up on there. And then, again, if I wanted to use my finger, now I've got my my concealer and my foundation mixed together. So if you're going under your eyes, you kind of want to do it in a V formation. And I realize the lighting is really bright up here, so hopefully you guys can see this, but in a V formation, and then just pat it in. Or if you're using a foundation brush, again, you can just pat it in. Or if you're using a beauty blender, you can just pat it in. And that way you're really, especially if you have wrinkles around your eye, you're really getting that product into your eye area, and it's not just sitting on top of the surface of your skin. So this is a great option if you're already wearing foundation, to mix your concealer with your foundation, because it's just going to give you a lot more control over the depth of your concealer. And you can always brighten it up by adding a little more concealer into it, or darken it up. You can also obviously use the white Shadow Sense, and do that exact same thing, but the Whisper Pink is pretty close, and it's a great base color for your lid because it's got a little bit of pink in it. So that is one way that we can do the concealers with the Shadow Sense. So let me know if y'all have questions about that, or drop them in the comments if you weren't sure about that. But those are the 4 different Shadow Senses that you can use as concealer on your face or under your eye, and they work really, really great. The other thing we can do is actually use the concealer crazy that. So if you're not trying to cover any redness or discoloration, then just using the straight concealer is great. If you are trying to combat, like if you have a red pimple, that is when the green concealer is really helpful. You just do a dot of the green, get all the color evened out, and then you can go back over either with your foundation or the light concealer on top of that to kind of make that coat. I don't have any red spots, yay, right now, so I can't demonstrate, excuse me, how that works, but we're gonna do the light concealer. And again, you just need a tiny, tiny dot. And so the great thing about this concealer, as opposed to the SeneGence, is it's so lightweight that it's not going to settle into your wrinkles or look cakey or start to, you know, make your wrinkles more prominent throughout the day. It's just really, really light and use. This is even way too much. I would never use that much product, but let's say, you know, I wanted to, gotta keep track of which side of my face. Oh, here's a little dark spot right there. Okay, let's say I wanted to do that. I would just tap a tiny bit on there. And again, this is over my tinted moisturizer already. I didn't use foundation today, just tinted moisturizer. So just over my tinted moisturizer as the last step. I'm gonna put a little bit of concealer on right there. And then again, if you wanted to use a brush instead, you could just, you know, squeeze a little bit out, or you could put it on your finger and then dab it on your brush. And then just go in and pat that on like that. Or third option, use a beauty blender that's already wet and kind of pat it in and stipple it in. So that way it's really smooth and even on your skin surface, and you're not having to worry about it like standing out. You don't see like, oh, there's a spot of concealer on that one spot. So the other great thing is you can blend these together. So this is the light and the white, and if you need to play around, like if you have darker circles under your eye one day, you can add, you know, a little extra white with your concealer to kind of, you know, give them even brighter look. And it's just something you play with and determine, you know, what balance you like. But again, tiny dot, it's gonna go well, really, really last you forever. I have not even made it through in a year and a half one tube of concealer. So, okay, so I think that's it about that. Okay, so now we're gonna address dark eye circles before we talk about how to conceal them. So, as I said in my post earlier today, there's many causes to dark circles under your eyes, and because of that, there's different ways you're gonna treat them. So, one is hereditary dark eye circles. Those are much harder to actually reverse, but you can obviously conceal them just as easily as you conceal dark eye circles that may be from stress or from allergies or just from old age. Those types of dark eye circles are much easier to actually treat. And this is the dark circle eye treatment. And a friend of mine I just dropped it off for her today, so she's gonna be testing it out for us for the next couple weeks, taking some pictures to kind of show the progress of how it does help her. And there's a couple things about this dark circle eye treatment. One, it's treating also the puffiness. Excuse me. I can't see the statistic on how much it reduces the puffiness, but this is great for treating puffiness, and it also reduces dark circles by 122%. Now, it's got a couple of amazing ingredients, and they're both peptides, and they do two different things at the same time. One of the peptides is actually working, so dark circles, if you didn't know, are usually like some blood pooling underneath your eye right there. So one of the peptides is actually, I heard it described and it was really weird, it's actually eating up the blood that's pooling underneath your eyes. So it's helping to reduce the dark circles in that method. And then the other peptide is actually helping your skin to be thicker right there and helping it to, you know, repair itself so that it's not as thin and transparent. So two great peptides that are working in this product to help you reduce your dark eye circles. So that being said, there's a couple of really unique ways I learned that you can treat your dark or you can cover your dark under eye circles. And one of those is by counterbalancing. So if you notice that you have a lot of blue under your eye as part of your dark eye under eye circle, a great trick that I just learned is to combat it with using something that's more orange. So if you don't have really wrinkly skin underneath your eye, you could use the candlelight, since that's more yellow, as a counterbalance to the blue. And again, this would be a two-step process that you would want to do with either one of these for treating covering under eye circles. The first thing would be to take the candlelight, and I guess I'll demonstrate it on this eye over here. Take the candlelight, and if you have blue underneath your eye, I'll do this. I see I've got blue in there, so I can do it right there. Would be first to counterbalance the blue with the yellow. So that works pretty magically all on its own. If you have darker under eye circles, or you have a very wrinkly skin, another option would be to use, get ready for this, the terracotta blush scents. So because this is really, really sheer or really, really light, it's great to use around your eyes. And because of the orange, you can't really see that very well, there's a little orange in there, it's gonna balance out. So if that is your thing, you have really blue underneath your eyes, you can first take the terracotta, and you're gonna be able to see this upright because I don't have any blue on, so the orange is gonna stick out. Take it and just dab it on that blue area, and then let it sit for, maybe a minute or so, just to really set up, because this is a cream that's going to set on your skin. So you do that, and then you can go back over it with whatever light concealer, mix of light and white, whatever you're wanting to do. You go back over and counterbalance that. So I've evened it out with putting the candlelight or the terracotta on, and then I go back. Sorry, I'm trying to squeeze out not too much product. I go back and treat with the light concealer. And again, that was my finger. I can use this wet beauty blender to kind of help out a little bit more. But either way, 2 steps and you've completely taken away, concealed your dark under eye circles. So I know that was a lot of information, multiple techniques, but just wanted you to know there's so many ways that you can treat dark spots on your face, cover blemishes, conceal under your eyes if you just got a little extra, bagginess going on in the morning, or darkness going on in the morning. Lots of different options that you can use to treat, and lots of them that you might already have in your makeup bag. So, okay, I think that's it. I will go back and read comments later, so please, if you have questions, post them in the comments, and I will try to address those. If you need help deciding which of these solutions is going to be best for you, just message me, shoot me a text, or we can get together and talk about it, and I'd love to help you figure that out. So, alrighty, okay, gotta get ready to go pick up kids from school. So you guys have a lovely Tuesday, and I'll talk to you later.